you saw Paul and Maggie's when y'all were eating supper?
Yes, sir.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Tessa Spencer.
And I'm Katie Stolt. Day 6 of the Murdaugh murder trial is now in recess. Court going to resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Now, today was packed with testimony and newly released video, which could have a very big impact on this case. Investigative reporter Ann Emerson is live in Walterboro tracking the case. And
the state hopes to catch the defendant in basically a lie about where he was moments before the killing.
And does it show an incoming call from Paul Murdaugh to Rogan Gibson?
Yes, sir, it does.
And what time is that call?
8:44 p.m.
That critical cell phone evidence started to play a role in the state's case against Alex Murdaugh, narrowing a timeline of Paul and Maggie's final moments and whether they match Alex's account. Law enforcement spoke to the family friend Rogan Gibson, who communicated with Paul and who Alex tried to call 4 times after Paul and Maggie were already dead.
Does it reflect any response from Paul?
It does not.
Next thing is Rogan sends a text. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
What time is that text?
9:58 p.m.
9:58. And what does he say?
Yo.
The state also introduced new weapon evidence, even though the defense says the guns presented at trial have already been definitively ruled out as the murder weapons. Multiple guns and ammo that law enforcement collected at the Murdaugh house. They've entered it into evidence because they're the same type of guns and ammo that the state argues killed Maggie and Paul, a .300 blackout rifle and a 12-gauge shotgun.
And do you know the specific brand and make and caliber of ammunition that was used to kill Maggie Murdaugh?
The head stamps on the shell casings at the crime scene was S&B .300 blackout.
Same thing?
Yes, sir.
But earlier in the day, the defense spent time poking holes in the state's case again.
One of the bloody footprints in that feed room was not Paul, not the perpetrator. It was a police officer.
Yes.
Probably a Colleton County police officer.
I don't know that for sure.
Pointing to possible missteps as detectives attempted to secure and preserve the crime scene, particularly focusing on bloody footprints near Paul's body.
There are rules about who should be walking through crime scenes, right?
Yep. Preferably as few people as possible. If you don't need to be in there, then you shouldn't be in there.
They were walking in an area where most likely the perpetrator had walked, correct?
Possibly, yes.
Well, today we saw a packed courtroom. They certainly have an audience. There are members of the public that are showing up and talking about the case at lunchtime. We're hearing a lot from the entire gallery has been filled for the past couple of testimonies during Friday and on Monday. So we'll see what is in store for Tuesday. Reporting live in Walterboro, I'm Ann Emerson. I'll see you back here shortly with our exclusive legal analyst, Charlie Condon, for more.
Talk to me about what it looks like deploying resources for Meadow Street, because it's kind of a known hot spot, if you will, for things to occur.
You know, our job is to reduce crime in making arrests, and we've done that. But I also see equally my job as sheriff is reduce the fear of crime. So that's what we're trying to do now.
In just 5 days, 2 separate shootings have taken place on Meadow Street in Georgetown County. Deputies say someone shot into a home Monday night with people inside. It happened after 11 o'clock at night. Witnesses say they saw a man wearing a hoodie running from the scene. Then last week, someone in what may have been a Toyota Corolla shot at houses before speeding away. And while no one was hurt in either of these incidents, just last week, a man was murdered on Meadow Street. An arrest have been made in that case. Tonight, ABC 15's Emma Parkhouse is working for you. She sat down with Georgetown County Sheriff Carter Weaver today to discuss the recent high volume of crime on Meadow Street. She joins us live in the studio with more on that tonight. Emma, those are alarming numbers.
It is Jen, and Sheriff Carter Weaver says this week's multiple violent crimes are actually linked to the January 4th Ryan Woodruff case. Woodruff was arrested for murdering Tyquez Walker on Meadow Street. He says they've now made some arrests for potential suspects involving this week's shootings and confiscated weapons to go with that as well. But following the high volume of crimes that we've seen this past week all on Meadow Street, we wanted to look into what the street's crime history has been like over the past year. We found out it's pretty high after reaching out to the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office requesting copies of the police reports for all the violent crimes that have happened on Meadow Street from 2022 until now. We received 246 pages outlining 65 different violent crimes like shots fired, death threats, aggravated assault, vandalism, and larceny. Sheriff Carter Weaver says that these are a culmination of isolated incidents and not a bad community.
We have law-abiding citizens that live on Meadow Street. We have great people that live on Meadow Street. We have fantastic citizens that live in the Greentown community. They do not deserve this. These are people from the outside coming in and causing problems.
I asked the sheriff if the notable history of violent crimes in this area has created an environment where people like Ryan Woodruff feel like they can get away with committing various crimes in this area of Georgetown County. This was his response. People do their business where they're comfortable, whether that's legal business or illegal business. So obviously Ryan has lived within certain communities and found certain areas of comfort. But again, all those hundreds of incidents that you speak of, we responded to. We've made arrests in the majority, or we've stopped that activity, or we've found we've been able to mitigate it in other ways. The sheriff also tells me they're keeping a visible presence of officers in that area, as well as keeping open lines of communications with residents who are living on Meadow Streets and in nearby areas.
Now to a crisis in the classroom. Roughly half of Charleston County School District's K-8 students reading below grade level. Natalie Spalla reports on new technology that could help turn those numbers around.
It's called Beanstack, an intuitive, flexible platform where students log their reading and have fun while doing it. It comes at a time the district is working to boost English language arts scores at all grade levels. Engagement. Librarians like Christy James know that word well.
We are always, as librarians, looking for additional engagement and ideas for kids to find that place where they love to read.
Reading a top priority at CCSD. In September, Superintendent Don Kennedy announced Vision 2027, a district-wide goal to have all students read on grade level by grade 5.
Beanstack has been a huge part of this. It is a way to track what students are reading, celebrate what students are reading, and really make sure that students can see themselves as readers.
Beanstack, an easy way for educators to encourage reading by promoting challenges and friendly competition.
Each school has a community goal that relates to their student population, but all of our schools are engaged. We have minutes being recorded at every single one of our schools.
The platform comes at a time CCSD is working to improve students' reading abilities. SC Department of Education's 2022 SC Ready scores indicate just under 54% of third graders meet or exceed expectations. That number falls to roughly 49% for 7th graders.
We have kids reading, and that is absolutely going to make a difference to our scores in the long run.
With eyes on the future, James and her colleagues are excited by the level of engagement Beanstack has already sparked.
The parents are seeing the kids wanting to log their reading even at home, and I think that's going to be really exciting.
This is the first time CCSD has implemented a program like this district-wide. A 15 million minute challenge was also started this school year so every student can contribute.